I'm Kim Watkins from the Office of Special Education Services, Cohort 4. We want to welcome you for this time of just getting to know each other a little bit. I'm going to cut my camera off now so that we can make sure that we're clear on, yes, so we can have more clarity. Okay. Again, welcome. This is our time to get to know each other, get to know who is on the cohort team. We are all representative of the different focus groups. As you know, that we've transitioned to focus groups now. We no longer have oversight and assistance, programs and initiatives and such. We are now in teams with post-secondary outcomes, social and emotional learning, early childhood, and academic outcomes. As you can see, your team here, we're from each of those. I'm with post-secondary outcomes. I'm also the contact for students with intellectual disabilities, the South Carolina High School credential, instructional materials, and again, post-secondary outcomes. We also have Kim King. She's relatively new to us, and she's also on the post-secondary outcomes team. And we have Shannon Jones. Shannon is on with us, and I will let her introduce herself.
Good afternoon. I am Shannon Jones. I am a representative from the Social Emotional Learning team, and I am also our coordinator of virtual professional development.
Thank you, Shannon. We also have Madalena Tudora with early childhood, and she's also our assistive technology contact. Lisa McClimate, many of you know her as the school psychology lead, and John Smith with finance. It takes a team of us. And also you can see with the map of where the cohort 4 districts lie. We have the Spartanburgs to include the South Carolina School for the Deaf and Blind. We have the Yorks, Chester, Richland 1, Kershaw, Lee, Darlington, Chesterfield, Marlboro, and Dillon. So these are the cohort LEA's SOPs. What you see before you is a cohort point of contact. Each of us will be responsible for different districts. These were just randomly assigned. There was no rhyme or reason as to why these were assigned this way, but a point of contact relative to the monitoring process for next year. As you know, the SOTA process will be in place for next year. Now, however, if you want to begin reaching out to your initial person of contact, any questions and needs you might have, certainly you may be able to do so. Of course, as time goes on, this may change because hopefully those that may be in tier 2 or 3 will move, of course, to tier 1. And again, we want to remind you, if you would please mute your phones. That would be great. Thank you. Okay, so again, these are randomly assigned and we will be your point of contact. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't contact other folks. For example, if you have a preschool need, you can certainly contact Jenny May or Lisa Rafer for autism and such. So we will still have our respective areas that we are point of contact for the state, but each cohort will be broken down with those representatives and will be your point of contact. Now, we would really love to get to know you a little bit. If you could tell us about yourself, introduce yourself, tell us your role at your district, and tell us something about your district. And we can start at the top. I don't know that everybody is, but we will try. Let's take a look at Marlboro. Is Marlboro with us today? Dillon 4.
Hi everyone, I'm Mandy Hayes for Dillon 4. We're a pretty small rural area, and on the interagency thing that we had to fill out, we want to focus on academic outcomes.
Spartanburg 3. York 1.
Hi, I'm Brian Greason. I'm the Director of Special Services here in York 1. A lot of you are probably familiar with York County, of course, the 4 districts. We're the largest geographically, but probably the smallest student body. We average about 5,200 students. We're a 1 high school district. And obviously this year, like everybody else, just trying to meet these COVID challenges. It's been crazy, but we're hanging in there. So I look forward to these cohort meetings that we have.
Thank you, Brian. Spartanburg 7.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Cheryl Rebels. I'm the Director of Special Services. I also have joining us today Emily Talon, who is the elementary specialist, and Michelle Cole, who is the secondary specialist for our district. We are the city of Spartanburg with 14 schools, about 7,500 students. And we also have only 1 high school, Spartanburg High School. And our focus that we submitted to the State Department is the first area is social emotional educational environment, policies and procedures. And the second one is academic outcomes and the instructional outcomes. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Spartanburg 1.
Good afternoon. My name is Trish Beeson, and I am Student Services, Spartanburg School District 1. I apologize because I think I did not complete the survey, but I would echo what Cheryl said for D7, emphasis regarding SEL as well as post-secondary outcomes. Thank you.
Thank you, Trish. Spartanburg 5.
Good afternoon. I am Wendy Height. I am the Director of Special Services for Spartanburg District 5, and that also includes our English language learners. We have about 1,400 students with IEPs, and I guess what's unique about me is that I came from Indiana. So during COVID, I moved here in July, so I'm still getting up to speed on some things in our special services department, but I was a director in Indiana for 20 years. So while special education is not new to me, the upstate of South Carolina is. So it's been a great learning curve, and everyone, especially my county directors, have been great support. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Wendy, and welcome to the upstate.
Thank you.
York 4. Kershaw.
Hey, how are you, Kathy? Can you hear me? Hello?
Hi, Terry.
Oh, can y'all hear me? Okay, good.
Yes.
Hey, this is Terry McGovern. I'm the director for Kershaw County. Glad to be with y'all today. I'm sorry I was in a meeting, so a couple minutes to jump on, but I'm glad to be here. I've been in Kershaw County. This is my 6th year, and prior to that, I was at the State Department with Kim, and have had a great run. I'm at year 26, but who's counting? So I'm glad to be here with y'all today.
Thank you, Terry. Do we have anyone from Darlington?
Hi, this is Sarah too. I'm one of the special ed coordinators in Darlington. We're I guess you'd say a medium-sized district for South Carolina. And our focus is on instruction and personnel, especially as we navigate this whole COVID situation we've got going on.
Thanks, Sarah. Do we have anyone from Dillon 3?
Hi, this is Sandy Jones. I'm the Director of Special Education for Dillon 3. We are the other school district in Dillon County, and we're relatively small. We only have about 3 schools and less than 1,600 kids. And our focus is on academic outcomes and post-secondary outcomes.
Thank you. York 3?
I'm Jennifer Currents. I am the compliance auditor for special services for the school district and the around 2,700 students that we serve with IEPs. Dr. Turner our director couldn't be here today, so I'm filling in for her.
Great. Thank you, Jennifer. Do we have anyone from Chesterfield? Spartanburg 2.
Good afternoon. I'm Fran Meta. I'm Director of Special Services in Spartanburg 2. We also would be a medium-sized district, have about just over 10,000 total students and about 1,400 students with IEPs. Our big focus, of course, is SEL with COVID and all of that going on, but we're also focusing on our post-secondary outcomes and our preschool. And I did ask a couple of our team members to join us today. So Lindsay Hurley's on the call. She's our coordinator. And then we have a lead psych, Sunny Biggers. She's also joining us. And she also works with our preschool. And then Ashley Bindle is our transition specialist.
Thank you, Fran. Spartanburg 4. York 2.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Gerber with Clover, which is York 2. I'm the new director this year also in Clover. I moved here 2 years ago from being in the state of Massachusetts. We have a whole new special education leadership team this year, so we're working through our district, including RISE. We're a medium-sized school district, I would say, on the low end of medium. We have 7 elementaries, 2 middle, 1 high school, and 1 Clover virtual academy. And this year we're really focusing on academics and post-secondary outcomes.
Thank you. Anyone from Lee? Chester? Richland 2.
Good afternoon. My name is Kathy Whaley. I am the Director for Special Services here in Richland 2 District. We are a fairly large school district with about 29,000 students. We did have a reduction in our child count for this year. We are down about 125 students. So we have about 3,800 identified with an IEP. And Joan Jacoby is also on this call, and I'll let her talk about our focus.
Hey everybody, hope y'all are doing well. Excuse me, I think our focus for us again is academic outcomes, like I think is priority for everybody, but we also want to take a good look at our excuse me, our discipline numbers and preschool numbers.
Great. Thank you, Kathy, and all for sharing. Spartanburg 6.
Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Swank. I am a school level behavior and academic coordinator. Also on this call is Sarah Kate Higgins, who serves in the same role. We're both brand new to this role this year. Dr. Eggert, our assistant superintendent, and Mrs. Holmes, our director, could not be here, so we're filling in for them today.
Great. South Carolina School for the Deaf and Blind.
Hi, I'm Christy Harding. We are a small state-operated program. We serve students statewide, so we have residential students and local students have hearing impairments or vision impairment. We also have an outreach program. But I'm the special ed coordinator for the campus program. We're kind of in a transition right now. Our president is resigning as of the end of the month, so some roles will be changing, but right now it's not clear on that. I should still be working here. Our focus is academic outcomes and then post-secondary outcomes. We're in our second year with the high school credential. We didn't have anybody identified the first year.
Thank you, Christy. Is there anybody else that has not had the opportunity to share that would like to? Okay.
We had just a few, I'm sorry, just a few that mentioned themselves in the chat, and I just want to let them know that I do have them.
Great. Thank you, Shannon. All right. And SOPs, you were asked to complete a survey about how would you define a successful year. And these were the winners. Compliance. I think everybody thinks about compliance when thinking about success, compliance with state and federal regulations, academic and functional growth, and using data effectively. So these were the 3 big winners. Just as open discussion, and anybody please chime in, how would you measure academic and functional growth in your district? How can you measure that? What kind of data do you look at? How do you use data effectively?
Kim, this is Terry. We're looking at obviously CBM data as far as at the elementary level. We're with all the Read to Succeed and everything like that. We're using DIBELS, and of course MAP growth measures is something that we look at as well. So that's sort of 2 that I could mention.
Thank you, Terry.
Hey, Kim, this is Fran. We are using iReady and looking at those outcomes with the 3 different administrations of that in our kindergarten through 8th grade students. So that's one measure that we're looking at. But we also look closely with our RTI teams at the CBMs, and so looking at the individual growth of students. And this year, the functional growth, we started the social emotional screener, so we'll be taking a look at that. Although it's new and it's early, that's one thing that we've added in to try to look at the emotional well-being of students as well. So it's just a couple of things that we're doing.
Thanks, Fran. Anybody else would like to share? You have some good things going on. Okay, well, let's just move to the next one. Another or some more winners of the what you need to have a successful year. Of course, we all need to think about the health and well-being of students and staff in this new normal. Providing ongoing professional development with staff and how to serve, I know for a lot of folks, appropriately in all the models, virtually, hybrid, and face-to-face. I mean, it's a big challenge for a lot of us, right? So talk to us a little bit more as to how we can provide those professional development opportunities and provide those supports. What can we do to further support you? What do you think what kind of training do you think would be helpful? And we are taking notes.
Kim, this is Brian. I think right now our SPED teachers, along with general ed teachers, are getting some really healthy doses of, remote learning and virtual learning, and using Canvas and a lot of the technical logistical things, as well as the instructional from some of our IT instructional coaches. So I think that is a really good start for them. Again, I think I mentioned earlier about how they're just pretty overwhelmed, which I think that's all of us. So what we're trying to do is balance this as we just moved out of a hybrid to more face-to-face, knowing we may very well have to go back to more remote. So, just that's kind of where we are as a district. I think our teachers have found it very helpful. I think the ongoing piece is going to be key. So I think, any assistance from you guys as far as the special ed part, as maybe people share some of those ideas. But our, principals and of course our director of elementary and director of secondary, we're all just kind of working together as a team. And I will say that it's coming along. There for a while, you kind of wonder, if it's even soaking in, because again, folks are just overwhelmed for good reason. But I think we do see some progress there.
I was also going to say, to piggyback on what Brian was saying, this is Nancy from Rock Hill, that although our teachers are coming along, both general ed and special ed, we're seeing that our parents need tutorials. And so our teachers are working, our special ed and gen ed, on links for tutorials to help the parents with the different aspects of just working a computer and then accessing the different programs, and it will be helpful. But that we're putting it together, how to work with links, and so that's something that's been even a bigger challenge for them to help the kids.
This is Trish Beeson from Spartanburg 1. I would say that our experiences this past semester are going to be critical to what we'll need as far as training or moving forward. Having that data now to be reflective about and make some decisions in regards to what would be the best way to move forward, whether we're looking at virtual, hybrid, or the face-to-face model. I feel like, teachers kind of were thrust head first into this without headgear, if you will. And consequently, many of them have concussions. And so I feel like, as their directors, we all have to take that into consideration and try to figure out how we can now help them from this point, knowing that the way we kind of ended up moving was not necessarily the best way, but it was what we had to do given where we were.
Great points, great points.
Anybody else would like to share?
I wanted to ask, was anybody doing anything or wanted to share just a really great idea? Was anybody doing, I'm very impressed as both a parent and, seeing things from this level, just at some of the innovation and creativity. And one thing we know that disruption does is it leads to innovation. And I think I've seen just some of the teachers, just doing some really innovative things. Is anybody doing anything really innovative, or has a teacher that's doing something really innovative in terms of the online hybrid model that they would like to share or put out there, or just any great ideas or support? Well, I will say to appropriate wait time, to piggyback off of that, we do hear you. We see you, we know you're doing a great job, and we are creating some things on the back end in terms of like a virtual learning series and some best practices and things like that. Because just like someone mentioned, we don't know when we're going to see this again. And what we don't want to happen, like you said, we want to learn from it. We want to get the data now so that we can prepare for this next time. This kind of hit us off guard, but we don't know what the next pandemic or issue is going to be. So at least we want to start to put some things in place. So if we're in a similar position, then we're just a little more prepared in the future.
I will say, really, I'm sorry, this is Jennifer Currents with Rock Hill School District. Just ideas that we've seen around here that are working. We have several teachers who are doing a great job working with students that are in the virtual academy in the school district and working at the same time with students face-to-face in their classroom. And the way they've been able to put it together with the cameras and the lessons, and the students are interacting with one another. Even though they're not together physically in the same room. It's been pretty awesome to see. We have one teacher who has put together videos to try to help our other teachers. So maybe if you have some teachers who are doing some great things throughout the district that you hear about, encourage them to make videos to send out to others to try to give them ideas, because it's such a hard thing to wrap your brain around when you think that you're going to be teaching students through a computer simultaneously with kids sitting at your table with you in the classroom. But they're doing it, and they're doing a great job. And just hearing from one another, I think that helps a lot, just as an idea for everybody.
And to kind of piggyback off of that as well, this is Lindsay Hurley from Spartanburg School District 2. A couple of things that we've done to help virtually to the students is we have created a Google site for our teachers that only our SPED teachers have access to. And there we've compiled resources that the teachers have used. And we've created just a virtual resources section within that website so that they can go there and use those. We've also created some virtual training sessions for them so they can go and watch those at any time and go back and look back at those and once they're busy. So we're not having to take more time away from them after school as well. They can go and review those at any time. And then we've also scheduled Q&A sessions on Fridays for our teachers to kind of ask questions, give feedback, and share ideas with one another as well.
Hey, this is Joan Jacoby in Richland too. We have done similar. We've got a Google site that we have posted what we're calling exemplar videos of special ed as well as regular ed teachers and some co-teaching situations for virtual instruction that teachers can access and get ideas and really kind of see what this virtual instruction is supposed to look like, because we have some, still struggling with that aspect. So far that's worked out well.
These are all wonderful ideas, and isn't it wonderful to have a cohort to share ideas with? This is how we learn. This is how we can benefit. This is what the cohort's all about, sharing of ideas. Appreciate all the input. All right. One of the questions that was on the survey, what will the OSES cohort team need to do to help you to be successful? And some of the overarching winners were professional learning opportunities, resources, training and support, face-to-face time to discuss hot topics. I guess for now, this will be our face-to-face time in the interim. Guidance on IEP documentation, policies and procedures and systems. Absolutely, those are all important. Can we think of any other hot topics that you need more support on that you'd like to talk about or share?
I'll add one little part to that. So another thing that we are doing, and we have heard a lot, I know that you all are doing the Google sites and the Canvas and Moodle and all the LMSs. Well, we kind of need an LMS as well. So we have one coming along soon, hopefully anytime now. So we are, looking at our data in terms of the technical assistance requests we get, PD requests, as well as the data that we'll get with this new system to develop some of those professional learning opportunities. We understand that just like your kids, you all need the flexibility of being able to go, do some of that training, asynchronous or synchronous. So we do have an LMS coming. It's in the process, it's in the works. And then each of the focus groups will kind of have their own, and we'll be using Moodle, but each of the focus groups will kind of have their own section where they'll be able to develop some of those professional development opportunities for you. So we do have a lot of things in the works. It's, it's not as quickly as it needs to be, but it's coming and we're working on it.
Thank you, Sharon. Any other hot topics that you could think about? We are creating that system, and I think you're going to love it. Of course, our Tier 1 supports that we've talked about earlier in our meetings. Okay, moving on. In thinking about our focus areas, and some of you alluded to this when you were introducing yourselves, think about your needs relative to academic instruction and outcomes. Would anybody like to share what your needs may be relative to academic instruction and outcomes for students? What specifically do you need support with?
I would say one of the areas is progress monitoring virtually. I think that's been a very difficult item right now, whether it's our special ed staff or working with the general ed staff. They're really struggling.
That's a great hot topic. Anybody else like to share? What about post-secondary outcomes? A couple of you had mentioned about post-secondary outcomes. What kind of needs do you need support with?
We're really looking at taking a look at what job opportunities our kids have, and then what skills we need to teach in the classroom to be able to support them in being successful in their job opportunities, and really finding instruction to that.
I had a very difficult time hearing that. Maybe some of you could hear that. It was job opportunities and skills for job opportunities, development of skills. Okay, what other post-secondary support? What type of training and support would be most helpful?
Given the current situation, this is Christy Harding at SCSDB. We are not allowing our students to go off campus to protect our residential students and protect our dorm situation. So our transition coaches are doing a good job with some virtual job screening, but getting that real job experience for our students right now has been difficult.
Yes, thank you for sharing. That's it definitely is a hot topic. We talked a little bit about database decision making. I think all of us we're required to do that. Would anybody like to share what your needs may be with database decision making? If you've had a chance to look at your root cause analysis, perhaps you delved a little bit deeper into your data. What about social emotional learning? What kind of supports and training would you find to be most helpful?
Hey, Kim, this is Terry.
Hey, Terry.
Hey, I just wanted to go back to database decision making. Sure. One of the things that we, obviously need help with, and I guess guidance, is being more inclusive, collaboration and co-teaching, those kind of things. Just to be honest, I think when we had the minimum requirement of 250 minutes, and that's been waived, I think, through proviso, just changing the mindset of, how much special education a child needs and those kind of things, if that makes sense.
Anyone else? What about social emotional learning? What kind of training and support would be most helpful?
I think we need more for secondary, where we seem to be finding a plethora of resources for our elementary and some for middle, but we're struggling to find some good SEL resources for our high school.
And I think in addition to that, some of our parents that we're really reaching out to and concerned that have, special needs students, and, just we get a lot of curriculum. We've got a lot of good tools for our students within our schools. And obviously we're working with guidance and mental health. But I think, how to best reach, some of our parents that are really struggling with this whole, during COVID and that type thing.
Yes, good point, Brian. Shannon, did you want to add anything?
No, No, not particularly. I just want to let them know that we're taking notes. We're writing all this stuff down. You know, it's not just like, you know, we're just saying, okay, but we're taking notes. Like, we really want to build something out of this so we can make sure that we are providing the supports that you all need.
What about post-secondary? How can we provide, or what kind of support and training would be most helpful? Well, I'm sure as time goes on, there will be opportunities for us to discuss post-secondary outcomes further, particularly if you may not have had a chance to even look at a root cause analysis to determine the specific needs, and most of you are doing a great job. I can tell you we've been working on indicator 13 this week and monitoring that, seeing a lot of good things. All right, so I know there's a lot of questions that, you know, we probably can't answer today because we don't have the final process in place yet. But certainly if there's some just general questions that you can think of that you would like to ask, feel free to ask, and Shannon and I will make an attempt at it. If we can't answer something, certainly we will write it down in our notes and bring it to our focus groups and to leadership as we move forward building this plan. Okay, well, I know questions will come, and that's great. That's fine. Really the purpose of today was an opportunity for us to kind of do the meet and greet, to talk about our role, where we've been, who your point of contact is, and that's important going forward. And it's certainly, just because the SOTA process will start next year doesn't mean that you can't go ahead and meet with your point of contact, your cohort point of contact. Certainly that's fine. And then in those specific statewide initiatives, any of those areas that you need support with, feel free to contact folks directly, even though they may not be your point of contact, of course. And think about what we need to do moving forward. And at any time, any of us would be glad to support you in any way that we can. Thank you for joining us this afternoon, and we'll be talking with you soon. Thanks, everyone.